welcome to Life in Isolation with me, NAJMA ISMAEL. Today we are joined by Diana Olwoch, who is a young psychologist practicing at CBT Kenya with a great interest in working and assisting individuals with various mental health issues, as well as proper assessment of clients. Welcome, Daniela. Thank you very much for your time. Now, September is Suicide Prevention Month. This year's theme is working together to prevent a suicide. And I'm just going to go straight to the point. What are the signs of suicide?
So suicide can be described as a very silent ailment, or a silent symptom. It's not something that's very easy to see. So if you miss it, it's not per se uncommon. But some of the key signs, one would be, for example, talking about suicide. Some people will probably joke about it, make fun about it, rash comments here and there. So that's a really key. And it shouldn't be taken very lightly, someone talking about suicide and talking about how they like to kill themselves. So that's one key sign. Also, isolation. If you find, an individual is just withdrawing, staying away from family, staying away from friends, and it's not their usual. So some people are introverts where they just like to keep to themselves, but this is more extreme, where they're really intentionally trying to stay away from people. Another one would also be attempts. You find people buying items that they don't really need, and some could be lethal items. So just a very big shift in, some of the items they're buying, or the shift in their behavior. Those are key, signs. Also, one thing we look for, especially as psychologists, is if you have a history of any mental illnesses. There's certain mental illnesses that suicidal thoughts or suicidal ideation could be a symptom. That's something, for example, like depression. That's something that could easily where you have suicidal thoughts. Also, if they have had previous attempts of suicide, that's something to also really look out for. And even don't go too much into it, but genetically within your family, if you had a history of suicide within your family, or even a history of certain mental illnesses or personality disorders, those are key things to look out for. Another key thing is also your environment. Within the family, if they've been, if you've suffered loss, if they've been certain, difficulties, environmental difficulties. Currently, for example, with COVID, a lot of people have unfortunately lost their jobs. So this environmental factors could also put someone at risk.
And this year's theme is working together to prevent suicide. How do you reach out to someone? First of all, how do you reach out to someone who does not want to be helped? They can be aggressive, they can be in denial,
Yeah, so reaching out can be, again, fairly difficult because, as I said, it's a silent ailment. It's not something too, very easy to see. What I would encourage people to do is, it's about creating an environment and a space where one feels comfortable discussing this different issues. Because it's very true, suicidal ideation, it's a very uncomfortable topic to have, just out of the blue. So, but if you create a proper environment where people feel comfortable that they can, talk to you about whatever it is that may be going on, that would be really key. So again, this is not something you can build instantly. It's something you'd have to, step by step. Many times the clients are looking for someone to vent out to talk to. That's something research shown. They'll always try and reach out to someone, and that's why sometimes you find someone jokes about it or says it in a passing way. So they really do talk about it. So I'd say first, ensure that you're creating an environment. If it's with your children, your colleagues, or if you have a therapist, let that space where it's easy for them to just come and talk to you about whatever it is that's going on. Because of the whole stigma, because stigma can stop the whole treatment process.
True.
And that's, you don't want to, stigmatize. So also educating yourself and understanding, suicide and how it comes about. And there's no blanket way we can say, like, this is how everyone, comes about suicide ideation. It's very individual, to every person who might be having suicidal thoughts. So it's really important to educate yourself. Because so actually discussing is more or less something we call psychological first aid, which is basically you look at the situation and you see what are their needs, what is, are they safe where they are, creating that safety. And then you link them to people. Yeah, so you could link them to another therapist or link them to a psychiatrist if they need to. And yeah, many times they just want, because by the time someone is coming to that decision, they feel very overwhelmed. It's like you're backed up in a corner.
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't want anyone to give you advice or anything like that, just listening. So look, listen, and then link, the 3 L's.
Look,
yeah.
Listen, and link.
Yeah, so that's basically connecting them to a professional or someone who can help them. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. Look, listen, and link. And moving on to my next question, when I was doing my research, there was this positive affirmations like, I am worthy, I will get through this. And do they really work, these things?
When it comes to such treatment and like positive affirmations, I always believe it really depends on the individual. Yeah. Generally, it does work because you're basically trying to restructure your mind. Because that, when I say I am good enough or I am worthy, that's more of a belief system. And we in CBT, we have a circle where we have the thought, emotion, and behavior. So if your thought is positive, it will affect how you feel. And if you feel good about something, you will automatically behave. So it's really about changing the thought. That's when we use positive affirmations, that's what we want to challenge, yeah? And something would probably couple with that, with positive affirmations, is maybe something we call Socratic questioning, whereby, for example, you say, I'm not worthy. Why do you say you're not worthy? What are the facts that state you're not worthy? And, really break it down. So that coupled with positive affirmations, because there are facts why you are worthy. So backing that up, saying it every day, it's almost like, how you take medicine 3 times a day, can be really helpful, because what we're trying to do is change the thought. Because if you feel you're worthy, you'll feel a bit happier, feel more positive. So you're not likely to, engage in activities that, would perpetuate that feeling. So if you're feeling happy, you go to work, you'll be more productive. Whereas if you're feeling bad or a bit low, you'd probably not do anything at all. So they do work because we're targeting the thought. Although it, as I said, it works with different, for every individual. For some people, it works very well. For other people, it has to be coupled with other things. Like I mentioned, the Socratic questioning assessment, where would also identify if there could be other issues. So that's, again, looking, because when we do a proper assessment, we'll look into your family, if there's any history of other mental illnesses. We'll also look into substance abuse, which many people downplay, because, for example, the use of weed and things like that, they really do affect you in a very big way psychologically. So we do a proper assessment so that we can really identify what exactly could be contributing. Once we've done the assessment, then we can do a referral. So we can give a diagnosis if it's to a particular mental disorder, give a proper diagnosis. So when it comes to medication, it really depends on the severity of the mental disorder. And at that point, a psychologist would refer you to a psychiatrist. And very important, especially when working with suicidal clients, it's always important to follow up. And have communication with them. If it's through therapy session, group sessions, just having constant communication with them. If they're on medication, ensuring that they're adhering to that medication as well, and just proper follow-up, because it took a process to get there. So it's going to take a bit of process to also come out of it.
There's a lot of stigma around suicide. People think that it's attention, that it doesn't exist. What can we do in the media and as media practitioners to stop this kind of stigma? How can we work together with you psychologists to, stop this?
Yeah. So I think already something's already being done. For example, with such a forum, having proper education. I think stigma really comes in a big way from people not having, proper information. Because when it comes to suicide, there's just so many different pieces of information from everywhere. So I think Media Festival can come in a really big way because of the platform and the reach it has in ensuring that any information that is being given about suicide is factual, it's real, and it's not it's not glorified, it's not downplayed, it's just given as a fact. So proper information, because media is one way many people learn about so many different things. So
Yes.
first of all, in terms of proper information, educating the different audiences that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Another key thing social media can do, and yesterday I was listening to a webinar on the same, and about regulating how we report suicide cases.
Yes.
And how we portray that to the different people. So as I said, stating it, as a fact and not glorifying, because sometimes it can be glorified. You hear cases where the details of how the suicide occurred given right down to the letter, and that's not very necessary. That's not really the point. Yeah.
Yes.
Sort of diverting attention more on either how they got there or how they're getting out of it.
Before I let you go, someone who is suicidal is actually watching you right now. What can you tell them in less than a minute?
In less than a minute. What you're feeling it's a normal reaction. It's not something completely abnormal, but it's not the only feeling you can have at the moment. There is space, there are opportunities. It might not seem like it might not look like there's literally anything you can do, but there are opportunities, there are resources. Mm-hmm. There's so many ways you can get out of this situation. And yeah, just reach out. Someone for sure will be able to help you. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. She has taught us a thing or two today. Look, listen, and link. And also everyone has a role to play in suicide prevention. For us in the media, I think we can stop sensationalizing this thing. Educate yourself, reach out to that person, and let us prevent suicide. This has been Life in Isolation. Have a good one.
Thank you.